3, 2, 1, jump.
Hampton Roads, home to 1.6 million people, 155 international businesses, and 9 military installations. It is crucial to keep our city beautiful and sustainable.
We will be going to many places in the area that are affected by climate change and convey how our innovative ideas will help to reduce the issues that plague our city so that in the coming years we will have a cleaner environment for our residents in 2100. Most of the issues that affect our city are rising temperatures, rising sea levels, ocean acidification, and negative and positive feedback.
We want to preserve Hampton Roads because of the strong economy, rich agriculture, species diversity, tourism, and the Chesapeake Bay. This is our home. The next adaptive strategy we have is for the locals-only beach Sandbridge. Sandbridge is a notable area that is easy to flood anytime we have a small amount of rain. It is predicted that the sea level is supposed to rise by 16 inches to 4 feet in the next century due to climate change.
The rising sea levels are likely to increase flood insurance rates and endanger resident homes near the water. This high vulnerability flooding zone caused major flooding and caused many people to be stranded in their homes the last time this area received major rains.
We propose that the government require houses to not be built in flood zones. This also deals with planned retreat, meaning purposely not building houses in these dangerous areas.
We can use the 100-year shoreline to track storm surges to develop a safe way for people to live near the water.
By adapting this law, we can keep people interested in the ocean since Virginia Beach relies heavily on tourism.
Maryland has laws in accordance to the distance that houses can be built, their height, and weather protection.
They also insist that people living in high flood zone areas take precautions. If we take this on in Hampton Roads, we can maintain our high number of ocean line dwellers while keeping residents safe.
From the late 1800s to early 1900s, North American cities started an urban planning movement that took large buildings and cityscapes and incorporated plants, trees, and artwork to enhance the attractiveness of the city.
This movement also worked to reduce the carbon in the air, effectively functioning as carbon sinks. This movement was called the City Beautiful movement and was similar to the Garden City movement in Britain. The newly additional trees from this kind of movement would work as carbon sinks to decrease the heat in our city.
The heat island effect describes how urban centers are hotter than rural areas, and if we keep this up, by the time it is 2100, homes and businesses will be using excessive amounts of energy to keep air conditioning and gas emissions low. We want to create carbon sinks that will help to reduce the heat island effect by lowering our temperatures.
With these added in carbon sinks, we will be able to reduce large amounts of CO2 emissions. For example, San Francisco has laws in place that buildings such as banks must have a public park space available on top of buildings.
By increasing the number of parks, like this one, and decreasing the number of carbon sinks, San Francisco can therefore have a positive effect on their CO2 emissions.
This mitigative strategy could be used throughout Hampton Roads to help prevent carbon dioxide emissions in the atmosphere and to prevent and reduce climate change.
Town Center is one of the main attractions in Virginia Beach, bringing in millions of dollars annually. With Town Center continuously expanding, they could be a vital part of our plan to create a policy that requires newly construction buildings to include in their design.
By using solar panels, we can alleviate the amount of energy gained from fossil fuels which emit carbon and increase Virginia Beach's carbon footprint. These new establishments will be using a clean and renewable energy source, the sun.
Adding in solar panels will affect Hampton Roads in a positive way. As we reduce the amounts of CO2 released into our atmosphere, we will decrease the rate in which climate change is affecting our area and how we will need to adapt it by 2100. We propose that a new policy requires 10% of new buildings' energy to come from solar panels.
These new changes will not only reduce the amount of carbon emitted into the air, but it will also reduce the cost businesses will have to pay every month for electricity.
Solar panel usage has already saved thousands of dollars in places like Florida, where making the switch they have saved $33,000, and California, where they have saved $34,000.
The cost to import a solar panel is between $25,000 and $30,000, but this cost will outweigh the amount businesses will save by importing these panels. Since the Hampton Roads area is of significance to the economy in Virginia and home to over 1 million people, it is vital that we work to preserve the city for future generations.
We propose the following: require raised homes and flood insurance for Sandbridge, and introduction of green spaces back into the community in Hampton Roads to reduce greenhouse gas effects, as well as a solar power / renewable energy law for the businesses in town center, as well as other high urban concentrations.
Globally, the United Nations Intergovernmental Panel of Climate Change has stated that projected sea level rise could reach 19 to 23 inches by the year 2100, increasing the spread of diseases and causing animal and plant migration.
By implementing our strategies in the Hampton Roads area, we can set a precedent for other cities in the world to help reduce climate change and to adapt to its effects.